Hi guys, I'm Charbria Shine and welcome back to Max Out Girl. So we are continuing our Women in Purpose series, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Joslyn Kelly. Hello.
Hey, good morning. Great day.
Yes, how are you feeling today?
No complaints. I will not complain.
Yes. So we have an amazing episode for y'all today. You do not want to miss it, so share this with somebody else. But before we get started, go ahead and click that subscribe button, share, and make sure that you put on those notifications. Okay, so this is Joslyn Kelly, and she is not only the owner, but the visionary of Jay's Breakfast Club. And we are here in this beautiful establishment today. So tell us a little bit about Jay's Breakfast Club. Have you always known you'd be in the restaurant business?
That's an interesting question. Mm-hmm. No.
You said, girl, no.
I actually, like a lot of people, Americans I should say, my first job was at McDonald's.
Okay.
So both of my parents are from Alabama, so I come from a southern roots.
Yes.
Folks that like to entertain, but most importantly like to feed people.
Yeah.
So I like to say that my first lesson in customer service was at home.
Okay.
So mom and dad really instilled it in me. And then in high school, my first job was at McDonald's.
Okay.
The interesting thing was it was so, when it was time to go away to college, the manager, the owner pulled me to the side and gave me an opportunity. He said, if you decide to stay here, I can put you in the management program on the road to ownership. And I said, oh, okay. You go home and tell my parents that I'm not going to Spelman College.
Right, they're going to have a problem.
So I'm going to go ahead and go over here.
Yeah.
But who knew some 30 plus years later that I would end up right back in the restaurant business.
Wow.
My career, actually, I'm a career banker.
Really?
The majority of my professional career has been in banking.
Okay, wow. But you came right back to the restaurant business. So did you already...
Just happen. They happen
for a reason, right? So do you feel like you already had a knack for it? Like when you were at McDonald's, were you like naturally good at it and enjoyed it, or not even really? You didn't discover
I don't remember that.
You like, girl, that was so long ago. I don't know if I hated it, if I loved it. Okay, cool. So let's talk about Jay's Breakfast Club. How did you come up with the name?
Interesting enough, life, like I said, things don't just happen. They happen justly, and life circumstances kind of pivoted me into this position.
Okay.
Unfortunately, at the end of 2014, my only son was active duty military and he committed suicide.
Okay. 6
months later, I was released from my job. So that put me in a interesting mental space, but it also put me in an interesting opportunity space.
Wow.
So while I was trying to reclaim and stand on my own too again, and redefining a new normal, it also gave me the opportunity to take an assessment of the things that I had done in life, those things that I had enjoyed, and what brought me the best amount of joy. After my son's death, I started a foundation in his stead. And while I was working the last job that I worked, I actually had a prayer, and it was, God, if I could figure out a way to sustain my lifestyle, do what I need to do for my household, and support this foundation where we can impact others' lives, I'd be so amazed. And then on June 26, 2015, had a meeting before noon, and they explained to me that they were going in a different direction. And I cried for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I called my mother, and she's like, if you don't move your stuff out of there, I'll come get it. So I called that day my emancipation day. And again, 26. You'll hear 26 a lot. We're on 26th and Broadway. That was June 26th.
Wow.
It was a new beginning. It gave me the opportunity to do a lot of things. When I traveled that summer, everywhere I went was a breakfast club.
Wow.
And I contemplated, where did I have the most fun? Where do I have the most fun? I love to throw a nice little shindig.
Come on.
I love to entertain.
Yes.
And I love to see people eat well. I love to eat well. And it was a combination of all those worlds. And previous to Jay's Breakfast Club, believe it or not, I co-owned a restaurant.
Okay.
And I had the most fun there. And that unfortunately didn't work out. But it did work out because now we're here at Jay's Breakfast Club some 15 years later, and we're doing what we started to do 15 years ago on a much broader scale.
Yeah.
We're able to do a lot of things. We're impacting the community socially by socioeconomic conditions. Socially, we have we went from our old location from 7, now we're at 24 employees, and we're still hiring.
Wow, that's awesome.
So we're not only serving the community, but we're serving the community.
Yes.
I'm a big proponent on economics, using what we have to get where we want. And when we understand the value that we have as individuals, it makes it easier to respect the value we see in others.
Yeah.
And so I'm able to live every day actually honoring those values. And so that's how Jay's Breakfast Club was birthed out of a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, but
that rolled into
are.
Opportunity that prayerfully will continue to birth a new revitalization, not former Gloria Gary, but birth us into a new season where we can now actually mold this place however we see fit and what's beneficial for us all.
Yeah, no, I love that. And, since we're talking about women in purpose, I love how you said, all of this stuff happened in your life, but it got you right back to now you're living and walking in purpose. And sometimes it's not that straight and narrow path. Sometimes it's bumps and falls and twists and turns, and you kind of didn't realize you were going to end up here, but now you have this beautiful business, this beautiful place that's blessing the community and a lot of people. And I love that because there might be some women watching that are like, I don't know my purpose. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, and maybe I'm in a career that I'm making good money or is decent. I went to college for it, but I don't feel like this is it. And it's okay at any point in life to say, I'm going to do something different.
Absolutely.
It seems like your life kind of just happened that way, right? Kind of like you were forced, things happen and you're like, okay, I need something different. But sometimes we can also make that choice, this ain't it. Right. I want to do something else. But I love what you said. Where did I have the most fun? Where did I enjoy myself the most? Gave me the most joy. And you love serving people, them enjoying themselves, kind of like entertainment, good food, good atmosphere. And I love that you took things not out of necessity, I just got to make money, so this is what I got to do, but what brings me joy?
Right.
Because I feel like when we have joy, we're going to spread that to others. And that's really living and walking in purpose. So absolutely. I love that. So let's move on. So I heard somebody say that purpose doesn't come without some pain or pressure. Would you agree with that? And if so, kind of explain that philosophy, how that has been in your life.
Well, let's just talk about a diamond.
Yep.
We'll talk about a diamond, then we'll talk about a seed.
Okay.
We'll talk about the diamond. A diamond finds its worth by going through the refining process, right? It starts off as a lump of coal until it goes through the pressure and everything else. So therefore, it doesn't receive its full value until it's cleaned up, gone through, beaten up, heated up, put on fire, cooled off.
Woo. Going through the fire, going through the storm, right?
Exactly. And then I heard somebody probably within the last 6 months to a year talk about a seed, right? So something happens to a seed. You got two ways that you can look at it. It's either planted or it's buried. Mm-hmm. So when we think about stuff that's buried, it's dead. It's nothing else. Yep. But if you're planted, you will one day, all that stuff that's on top that is still buried, it'll still be fruitful, and you'll get flowers that sprout out and bloom and have fruit and flourish. And the one thing that it also does, it creates more seeds. Yes, I love that. So through pain, purpose, life, and it's all how we look at it. You can look at the cup half empty or half full. Yeah. It's an opportunity to grow and do better, or we can get stagnant by stuck in a situation and looking at where we are. It's all based on perception. Yeah. Yeah, I love that, because I think sometimes when things happen to us in life, we have a choice how we're going to handle it. We can't always control what happens, right? And we know that, right? But we have to be able to say, okay, what am I going to do? Kind of like you said, am I going to lay here and die in this situation? Or am I going to rise up and say, okay,
let's toughen up, let's bear down, let's see the purpose in this pain, and let's get through this. What's next?
Right.
And I love your situation of how you overcame, because some people could say, girl, what you went through, that ain't nothing. But then you have something that is a very heart-wrenching situation that you have overcome. And so losing a family member or a son, you know, some people, they can identify with that. Like, how did you overcome? Like, how did you have enough strength to say, I'm not going to die in this situation?
Okay, so I'm going to correct you.
Yeah.
I'm overcoming.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
yeah, share with them that.
Yeah, I'm overcoming. Mm-hmm. So in all situations, we're continually evolving.
Yes.
When we stop evolving is when we get buried.
Gotcha. So you're learning and growing and
we're
moving
learning
forward.
And growing, right?
Yes.
And so it's not what happened. Nothing happens. Well, things happen to us.
Yeah.
But it's not the things that happen to us. It's our reaction to it.
Gotcha.
It's not what happens to us. It's how we react to what happens. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. And so we have an intimate choice of how we choose to look at things.
Okay.
You know? A lot of people say, "Oh, I'm sorry for your loss. I did not lose my son." Because right now I could sit here emphatically and tell you that although I want him here more than anything in the physical, he's closer to me than he ever was, even in my womb.
Wow.
Because he's in my thoughts, he's in my spirit, he's in my talk, he's in my walk, he's in my actions, he's in my decisions. Mm-hmm. When some parents have to worry about where their children are, I don't have to worry about where my child is, because emphatically I know where he is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So again, it's perspective.
Yes.
And that perspective didn't come overnight. Mm-hmm. My perspective comes from a place called faith. Mm-hmm. You could read the Bible all day and all night, but you don't know God until you go through a valley. You know, the testimony comes from the test, right? So even when we go to school and we get all these degrees and we learn this, that, and the third, we can't really know what it means until it's time to apply it, the practical application.
Yes.
And so with that being said, that's the difference between being stagnant in a situation or making a choice. Yeah. There is a scripture that I hold very close to my heart, and that's no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And the last, I would say 6 months, I understand this more so than ever. Yeah. No weapon formed can prosper against me. Yeah. Because even in the season where I think it was a weapon targeted at me, it didn't prevail. No, it's prospering. Yes. It's come to sharpen me. Yes. It's come to teach me. Mm-hmm. If I didn't go through horrible relationships, I wouldn't know what a good relationship was.
Come on, you're preaching now.
If I didn't know what it was to lose a job, I couldn't respect what I do now. There were, in my 20s and 30s, I prayed for purpose. I asked people, how did you find to do what you do, and how did you get to purpose? Yeah. Life bore me to purpose. That thing that stings you so and gives you so much heartache, and that's God nudging you, like, I want you to go and figure that out.
Yes, I love it.
I want you to kind of to figure out how you can make it better or learn from it, and that is your passion. Mm-hmm. And when you know your why, and you know that thing that you're passionate about, it makes it easier in rough times. Yes. Like, there are plenty of days when I'm like, I'm over this place.
Like, I'm going home, shutting down.
I'm over the employees, I'm over the vendors, I'm over the contractors. Yeah. But then I go into that quiet place and I understand there's a greater purpose.
Yes. I love that. Thanks for sharing that, because, there are some women who are like, they feel that. What is my purpose? I'm crying for it. I'm praying for it. I'm seeking. And sometimes it is just that thing within you that's bothering you about the world or a situation or something that you just love so much, and you try to brush it under the rug, but it pops back up in seasons. Right. It pops back up. And I will encourage you, ladies, pay attention to that. Mm-hmm. Pay attention to that. That's God trying to show you. And it doesn't matter what you're doing now in life. God can bring you to that place of purpose. Sometimes the different seasons, I feel like, is teaching us, because I feel like in my life, I've had so many different jobs. And I'm like, Lord, what is the point of all these different careers? But in each one, I learned so much. And now what I'm doing, I'm actually using pieces of that everything. Knowledge, right?
Well, life is a puzzle.
Yeah.
It is a puzzle. If we had all the answers, if we had all the resources available to us at a certain time, then when we get elevated to certain spaces, we wouldn't be appreciative. We get the I did this. Yep. I got it. Yep. honey, I know what
Say,
it is
it was
to
God.
lose everything,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And I know what it is to work hard and see things come into fruition.
Yeah.
And so I have a greater appreciation. I can look into other business owners and I'm like, oh, I love what you do. And you can tell when somebody puts passion into something versus where somebody just shows up to do.
Or threw it together, Yep.
You go places and may I help you? Okay, I didn't tell you to choose this job.
Right. You have a choice.
You have a choice. And those are the things and those are the opportunity. We get to die once, but we get to live every day.
Yeah.
So how are you living every day?
I love that.
Are you living begrudgingly? Are you living in content?
Or in purpose? And we have a choice.
We got a choice.
And some people, are like, no, I don't. I have to. You do have a choice. Sometimes it's a tough choice. Sometimes you got to buckle up and woman up.
Big girl panties on.
But you have a choice to change your life. And sometimes I see women, they don't love their life. And they're not walking in purpose. And they feel like, I'm stuck in this. You are never stuck. You can make a choice, but you got to woman up. So I have another question. So what obstacles did you have to overcome to be able to have this beautiful facility or this business and to run a successful business? Because I know it's a process, and a lot of people who are in business that watch my podcast, because I encourage women to max out in their careers and business. So what are some obstacles? I know there are probably a lot, but can you pinpoint some?
I love this question.
Yeah.
I love this question because the biggest obstacle is me.
Ooh, come on, tell us about it.
The biggest obstacle is me because unbelief will keep you from doing a lot of things.
Tell us a little bit more.
So the world, as we grew up, limits us from the time we're a child where we have this incredible imagination. We want to fly from here. We want to see everything, do everything. I want to be a lawyer, doctor, actor.
Yes, and believe we can do it all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Until the world comes around and says, no.
Like who you think you are?
You're not good enough.
Yeah.
You're not bright enough. You're not skinny enough. You're not tall enough.
Yeah.
And then you start believing it.
True.
I spent 20 plus years in corporate America, and I've always been a big personality. And so I would go into these jobs and, I would command X amount of dollars. And I'm like, no, we're going to give you this.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I come out with these grandiose ideas. That's wonderful. But, and they would stuff me in the box.
Limit you.
And, after you get hit so many times, I'm not going to touch that no more because I don't want to get hit anymore. And it pushes us into a box.
Yeah.
And so several years ago, something happened that gave me the courage to choose me, the courage to begin to believe in me.
Yeah.
To say, I hear people say, you're so smart. Got the courage to say, I am smart.
Yeah.
Believing
in yourself.
Innovative.
Yeah.
I can build a building. And even as the walls went up, I would stand here and I'm like,
You're like, I can't believe it. Yeah.
You got this.
Yeah.
And then when the faith begins to waver, I go back to God, through God it strengthens me, everything, and so he's got it on loan to me. And so therefore I want to be a responsible steward.
Yes.
When I speak to youth, especially, I always ask them, how many of you all are afraid of failure? Undoubtedly, the whole room shoots up their arm.
Yeah.
And I said, well, why are you afraid of failure? Well, I don't want to disappoint, or I don't want a bunch of different things. And I said, okay, that's cool. But if you don't go through failure, you won't have anywhere to go from. You won't learn what you can do better, what you could be better, or what you could do better, or what you could have better, right? And so one of the initiatives that I've done in these last 8 years is Black Girl Magic Month, which is in November.
Okay.
And we do what we call a class act. And it's with girls, young girls up to 18. And we talk to them about us, what we tell our younger self, tell our stories. And I remember telling my story to this young lady, to the group of young ladies. And I told them, I said, 3 strikes, they say you're out. I said, but I filed bankruptcy twice. This is actually effectively the 3rd restaurant that I've owned.
Yeah.
I have had 2 houses that I personally lived in foreclosed on. I moved all the way to Texas with $2,000 in my pocket and still standing.
Yes.
And then she at the end of that session where we gave our testimony, she says, well, I have a question. If you failed so many times, what made you stand up?
Yes.
And the tears just started rolling down my eyes because a child saw something that I didn't even see in myself. I just knew I had to get up and keep going. But she touched the core.
Yeah.
What makes me different from somebody else who's lost everything? What makes me literally everything? Because when you lose your child, you've lost everything.
Yeah.
Physically, right? So what makes me different? Well, one is God has truly been working on me on that unbelief part.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I am birthed in purpose, for a purpose.
Come on.
And I believe that.
Yeah.
And it took years to believe that.
Yeah.
More than anything, you have to love yourself before you can love anyone else.
Absolutely.
And through the fire,
the flood, the rain, the storm, look,
right,
all
that. You come to the realization like, wait, I'm still standing.
Yeah.
And if you ever have a question about, can you get through this storm, just take 2 seconds and just turn around. Oh, from whence I've come.
Because you've already been through some. Yep. Yeah, God is
a
awesome.
reference.
Yeah. No, I love that. So how important is community to you? Because I hear you just said, you give back to students. So by this being Jay's Breakfast Club and food brings people together and you're in Gary, Indiana, how important is community to you and what are ways that's important for you to give back?
So the mission of Jay's Breakfast Club is inspiring positivity through love.
Okay.
Doing what we love, where we love, for the people we love.
Come on, I like that.
So our brand is community.
Gotcha.
The core of community is unity. One of the things in Gary specifically is we have a deficit of places where you can get food, quality food.
Yes.
A sit-down atmosphere. Somewhere
that's excellent because this is beautiful.
That motivates, that inspires, that encourages. You can go to an IHOP, you can go to a Cracker Barrel, but you don't get the sense, the
of
vibe,
community. Absolutely.
So Jay's Breakfast Club is modeled after all things home.
Okay.
So our food when we started 8 years ago was modeled off of home cooking. So we are not your gourmet batters and berries.
Yeah.
Or we are home cooking. So the stuff that you remember back in the day, that Mama, Big Mama, and all them.
Y'all got it, huh?
We got that, right?
Okay.
So it's home. And when you walk through the front door of anybody's house, the first room you get to is what?
The kitchen?
Nope. Front door.
Oh, front door. The living room.
Living room.
Yeah, okay. Look, I'm
And
like
then,
the kitchen.
no,
I'm thinking
right.
food. I'm hungry.
That's the back door.
Right, that's the back door. I'm like, what a pancake set.
Right. So you come through the living room, and then we invite you into our dining room, which is our community kitchen.
Yeah.
And so what makes us different from the other entities, the other restaurants, is that we want to love on you.
Okay.
So we want you to be welcomed into love, something warm, right? But the senses, the smells, the service, we want that to remind you of, well, this reminds me of my favorite auntie's house.
Gotcha. Home. Yeah.
And so with that, we take it a step further and we do a whole lot of outreach.
Okay.
So on Saturdays, we do a thing called Small Business Saturday.
Okay.
Where we invite small businesses in on Saturday at no cost.
Nice.
To set up a pop-up shop where they can interact with our customers. The only thing that I charge them is to invite your family and friends who may or may not know about Jay's. In response, you get to access to our customers who may or may not know about your business.
Gotcha.
That's called cross-marketing.
Yes.
Right? Sundays, traditionally we had live entertainment every Sunday, and we're moving back into that. That gave entertainers an opportunity to create a platform, to practice their craft in front of an audience. Mondays we have a wonderful celebration called Silver Monday, where we focus on our clientele that are 50 or greater with information, resources, and activities to engage them. So the conversations they may be having on side at home, they're now be able to put it in the public. So they're meeting with attorneys, they're meeting on people about education, they're meeting with doctors, they're meeting with different social services, different cultural things. So it's about, again, engaging them and giving them an opportunity to grow and continue to contribute back as well as be contributed to. Prior to COVID, we had On Us Tuesday, where we highlighted different businesses, organizations throughout the community that were doing extraordinary things, and we will host them by providing them breakfast or lunch and take food to them.
Yeah.
So it's about community. Everything we had during the pandemic started a seat at the table where conversations were being had at home because nobody was coming out.
Yeah.
We would open the doors to a select few, and then we'd stream the conversation.
Nice, yeah.
And then that grew into a whole thing called This Is Gary, which I won't even take you down that long. But it's a celebration of all things Gary. Where we celebrate the past, where we're sitting in the present, and the infinite opportunities of our future.
Yes, man, I love it. So basically, the vision of this restaurant is community.
It is community.
Love that. That's so important. So it's extremely important. That's one of your core values and in your mission. So I love that. So let me ask you a question. What advice would you give to a woman who doesn't know her purpose?
Keep living.
Keep living? Okay.
Listen to your heart. The thing I ask most people is, if you could do something all day and money wasn't a concern, what would that thing be?
I love that.
That would bring you peace and joy, and you have
That's
confidence
a good one, yeah.
when you do it. That's going to lead you into your purpose, but it's also going to lead you into your passion.
Love that.
And when passion meets purpose, you get prosperity.
Watch out. You hear me? Watch out.
Right.
Come on now. So let's say she knows her purpose, but she's afraid to go after it. What would you tell her?
What is she afraid of? What are you afraid of?
What if she's like, I'm fear of failure, or I'm not smart enough, I don't know enough? What would you tell that woman?
How do you correct that?
Yeah, go get educated. And it doesn't necessarily always mean school. There's so many free resources.
You can get in the
books,
the
YouTube
of folks.
Come on. Yes, learn from them. Yep. Who you're around.
And you don't necessarily, like you say, YouTube. It may not even be growing up, oh, I want to make movies. Okay,
right.
I'm going to study Tyler Perry.
Yes.
I was so excited. This was the week before last. I was in the restaurant and I'm whirling around as usual. And I look over and I said, I really know this lady. I know this lady. And finally, something said, just ask her, are you Aunt Vi? I don't know if you watch Queen Sugar.
Yeah,
Aunt Vi was sitting right here.
Really? Where? Here?
Yeah, right over there.
What? Did she say yes?
Yeah, she said yes, and she started laughing. And when I tell you, she gave me the best auntie hug in the world. Yes.
Wow, that's awesome.
Again, you never know who you're entertaining,
who's
going to
meet.
walk into your...
Yes.
And the only way, you can't get anything into a closed fist.
Love that.
But once you open yourself, the flow goes in and out.
I love
and you
that.
want to be about influence.
Yeah.
Not influence. I don't care about who I can influence, but I want to be in the flow, and the flow equals affluence.
Yes,
and
I love that.
that's what Jay's Breakfast Club is.
Yes, I love that. Okay, I love your vibe. I love your Breakfast Club. I love your mission. Okay, so where can they find you? Where is this fabulous location? Tell the audience, where are we at right now?
We are located at 2601 Broadway here in the Midtown section of Gary, just off of 8094, exit 10, just north of Indiana University Northwest, leading into the heart of the city. You can find us on social media, Jay's Breakfast Club, Facebook, as well as Instagram. And our website is www.jsbreakfastclubgary.com.
Yes, thank you so much for allowing me to interview you. Ladies, before we go, I just want to remind you we have a lot of stuff coming up, but as always, you can follow me at Charbria Shine, at Max Out Girl. Go to charbriashine.com for events. We have our Great Gatsby Dinner Live Music coming up April 14th. We also have our Self-Love Women's Empowerment on May 19th. So as always, I hope we said something that encouraged, inspired, and elevated your thinking. And always remember to max out, girl. This is Charbria Shine. Talk to you next time. Bye.